God, God seems to be attracted to boldness. And it's the truth. We've seen it over and over. Now this experiment of ours is 17 years in the making. And so we know that God is drawn into situations through boldness. So that's that overt ministry. I don't need to talk to you about that. You're strong and gifted in great boldness and great faith and great passion. The part that we need understanding of is the covert ministry. The covert ministry doesn't look for immediate impact. The covert ministry chooses influence over an immediate breakthrough. Influence. Influence comes over time. Covert ministry would operate off the concept that's found in the Gospel of Matthew 13, where he says, the kingdom of God is like leaven. Leaven that influenced the entire lump of dough. Leaven, of course, is yeast. We used to live in the mountains. I pastored in a mountain church in a small community, 3,500 people in the community. I pastored there for 17 years. And we would make bread, and our only source of heat was a wood stove, and we'd have to go out and get the wood and keep our house warm. And my wife would make this bread, she'd work the dough, and then she'd put it right next to the wood stove, because the heat from the fire in the wood stove would activate the yeast, and the bread would rise, and then of course we would bake it. But see, fire always activates whatever yeast is in you. Sometimes there's the yeast of unbelief. Sometimes there's the yeast of conflict, of resentment, of bitterness. And fire activates whatever you've been sowing into your heart. Whatever you've been meditating on will come to the surface once you get into an adverse situation. And so we put that next to the stove, and the heat from that fire would activate the yeast, and the bread would rise, and we put it in the oven and have great homemade bread. But the point is that the kingdom of God is like that yeast. It's worked into the entire lump. You don't see the effect. You don't see the effect until heat is added. There's something powerful about the Lord, that he adds the heat to wherever you put the yeast. Let me try this side. I've got amazing news for you. He adds the heat wherever you put the yeast. Wherever we... Thank you for your spontaneous response. That's awesome. Wherever you and I take these principles of the kingdom. Now here.